Hey, Vegas Day Drinkers, Chris here. Darren and I, 2 days ago, did a nice interview with Brian McMullan, proprietor of McMullan's Irish Pub next to the Orleans Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. We spent a little more time chatting with him. We're going to call the episode 36, Clover. In the first segment, we kind of talked about the formation and the foundation of the pub back in 2002 in Las Vegas. We rolled that into the second part where we talk about some of the more familiar items that are on the menu, their interpretation of the Irish coffee and the very popular Irish Nachos. And then we take it into the third segment where we talk about community, what the pub means to the rugby, the sport, and then we wrap up where we talk about St. Baldrick's, which is near and dear to the McMullan's. It is a week from tomorrow, March 28th, 2026. So we get a lot into the nitty-gritty of it, if you will. And we had a great social pint with Mr. McMullan. So the episode's about to start. Check it out. We had a couple audio things. We had a couple video things. We tried to clean it up, but bear with us. If you have any questions at vegasdaydrinkers.com. Sip, socialize, shine. Enjoy the episode. Here we go.
Let's go.
Yeah, so we're here today in Shenanigans at McMullan's Irish Pub. Darren and I are chatting with our friend and publican Brian McMullan. He's operated and owned McMullan's Irish Pub here in Las Vegas next to the Orleans since 2002.
Yeah, which we always talk about how it's family owned. Like, we don't like those corporate. I mean, corporate's fine, whatever, if you love it, but family owns where it's at.
So in a city built on spectacle, Brian, you've built a pub that's lasted more than a quarter century. Yeah. What do you attest that to?
I don't know. I suppose hard work, hard work. You don't get anything without that. And I always try to, we're in America.
Yes.
It's not Ireland.
Right.
But I tried to make it feel like Ireland. We're not claiming it's Ireland. It's our best rendering of it. I happen to, at one time, represent the Irish Pub Company, which builds them around the world. Yeah, I was, after I'd finished gaming, like real gaming, casino gaming, we have 15 machines now, so I'm still in gaming. But after I did that, I thought, what happened was the Irish Pub Company, we built a pub in up in Summerlin, in the hotel up there, which is now the JW Marriott. They don't have it anymore, but it was J.C. Woolighan's.
Correct.
And they were the only company that we had on that project who brought it in on time and for the price they said it would be. So I got very friendly with them, and they asked me to work for them after I finished. I finished on the 31st of December, 1999, and I agreed to represent them. Now, they in Atlanta, but I knew a lot of people here because I've been involved in the gaming business, and although I only came to Vegas to live in 97, I first came to Vegas in 1978 on casino stuff. We would come here, look here, and then we had the gaming show, which was in its infancy. I remember going to the first one in Atlantic City, and there were more lawyers than there were gaming people. And so they asked me, could I help them with getting some Irish pubs from people, just could I help them?
Because at the time, right, they were building them in Ireland and they were boxing them up and selling them into.
Well, Mel McNally, who's the owner of the company, who's an architect, He has great vision, I think. You know, if he comes into an empty room, he can see the bar. He can see the pub.
Okay.
And it's very difficult to explain that. I can't see it like he does. I can see it and like it or dislike it when I see it, but he can actually, you know, he's got a, whatever it is, left or right side brain, whatever.
Right.
He's got that ability. And we got on well, and he said, will I help him here? And so I said, okay. So people will call me, and I'd try and talk them out of being in a pub. But if I couldn't talk them out, that was it. And I had some people I knew at MGM before it was MGM Mirage even, and they said we'd like to talk to you about putting a pub in the MGM. So we looked at that, and I thought, okay, we'll put a pub in. We'd like to talk to you about putting a pub in the MGM. So we looked at that, and I thought, okay, we'll put a pub in the MGM. And they said, no, we want to put it in New York, New York. And Tom McCartney was not in charge, he was number 2 there. And we had a chat about Nine Fine Irishmen. It took a while for him to agree to tell me, but we didn't really we built it to a theme. You know, the pubs in Ireland, they said, well, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to do? Who's it going to be about? And we finally decided that he would want to talk about the young islanders, which were against, you know, Britain, because they'd been there for 600 years, and we had General Marr, and, you know, these people were convicted, and actually they were sentenced to death.
Okay.
And France complained and said, you can't do that. And they were just sentenced to life imprisonment and put on a boat to Tasmania. And so that's what it's about. All those guys that were they were found guilty of whatever it was against the British government.
The Nine Fine Irishmen were scoundrels.
Yeah, they, you know, and we study the history of it. And I said to the boys in Ireland, this is what they want to do it.
Okay.
And so we built it.
Gotcha.
We designed it, shall we say.
So J.C. Woolighan's at the Marriott in Summerlin evolved into Nine Fine Irishmen at New York, and that was 1999, 2000?
I went there in 2001.
Okay.
And we discussed, oh no, it was probably earlier than that. We had chatted about it, and there's meetings about meetings, and we designed the whole thing, and then the 11th of September happened. That's what the key thing was, 11th of September, and shortly after that, because they'd laid off 5,000 people, that's the MGM Mirage or whatever the company was called at that time, and they said, we can't do it now, but we may want to do it later. And I thought to myself, well, okay. Well, then I said to myself, okay, I'll build my own pub.
Okay.
I've always wanted to do it. You know, in Las Vegas, I'd come here and seen it, you know, with 35 machines, 50 machines. But I was so busy working that I never did it.
Yeah.
But now I wasn't working. So I looked for a property that I could, well, if I could buy it, that would be great, but I couldn't. And I found the property that I'm in now. And it was just 4 walls, sand on the ground, no ceiling. And that's how I actually wanted to do it smaller. But my lawyer told me I said, well, what's the normal size? And they said 5,000 square feet. Because at that time, the feeling was that gaming couldn't be your most important thing. You had to do food and beverage, and that could just be an ancillary. It seems that was wrong, because now they have places which are slot alleys,
Right.
which are No, that's
So-
controversial. I don't want to get it.
Did Tom McNally come and help you design this bar? Or what was?
No, he did an outside drawing about
Okay.
it, but I decided to do it myself.
Okay.
You know, he did a layout, and I stuck to the layout, not completely, but it was just a layout and no design features or anything. And it was going to be, I wanted it to be about my friend J.C. Woolighan,
Okay.
but we had already sold his name to the casino company. So I didn't want it to be in my name, actually.
So this pub was originally built out in Ireland, right?
Well, well, we just did an outline drawing of the place.
Okay. Okay.
And then I know where to get the stuff from.
Okay.
So I went to Ireland
Okay.
and got a 40-foot container. Well, I didn't get a 40. I went by the product.
Okay.
So I had the spaces,
Okay.
and then what do I need to put in the spaces?
Gotcha.
So be tables, chairs, back bars, furniture, all that I sourced in Ireland from one particular place out in the country,
Okay.
which you can, you can go and look at the stuff that they've taken out of houses, out of old pubs. And so I picked pieces that I liked. I picked some pieces that I couldn't afford,
Yeah.
so I didn't take them. But that's how it came about. And, so everything was sourced from Ireland, from Northern Ireland, actually. But some of the stuff would have come from the south. So, for example, the couches,
Yeah.
in the cottage, all that furniture, all came from a place called Derry's. Actually, Derry's. That's not to be confused with Londonderry or Derry in Northern Ireland. It's a guy's name
Yeah.
that has that. So you have to know where to get the product from. And that was essential. And I only knew who the product to get from because I represented the Irish Pub Company. This wasn't an Irish pub company property, but the knowledge that I got from them and from, pubs in general.
So then you started taking, like how you built the narrative and the story of the Nine Fine Irishmen at New York, New York. You started doing the same with your own family's history from County
I
Antrim.
was fortunate, yeah. I have a lot of photographs. My cousin got me a lot of photographs. She was born in Belfast. She lives now in Yorkshire. They're her grandchildren. And she got me a lot of... I had photographs of my own, but she got me them. And that played a great part in it, I wouldn't have been able to source it if I didn't have her, because she had her families, our families, the grandfather or whatever, the source property from them. And that was very useful, yeah.
Yeah. And then that's throughout the pub today.
Yeah. And there was I can't remember her name. I wanted to, when we built pubs in general, it's the colors of the walls, of what they look like, things that people don't notice. They
Yeah.
only notice, they see them, but they don't even realize they're there and why they're there. So there was a young lady who's a portrait painter who I got in touch with via Guinness.
Okay.
I said, yeah, have you got anybody that helps you, that builds or is part of building pubs, who's an artist? And they told me. And so I called her, and she was available. I had to book her in advance, and I attempted to get her at the right time. But unfortunately, the building process in itself was going on. The plumbing.
And this is
everything
is the early 2000s.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This is 2002.
Okay.
And I called her, and she said, I might sound expensive, So I told her, well, tell me. And she said, I can't remember what the figure was. So much a day she charges. And I said, well, how long is it going to take you? Because I'd already sent her their layout. And she said, well, I don't know, but I'm busy. When are you going to be ready for me? And I told her when I was going to be ready for her, which proved not to be right. But she came out there and she was with me for 10 days.
Okay.
And she was a fantastic help to me.
And she came over from Ireland?
No, she's from Ireland,
Okay.
but she was living in San Francisco. And she'd said to me, it may sound a lot, but I work very hard. So I didn't know her. How do you know if she works very hard? But I said, okay. And I put her up, and there's that plus accommodation. Put her up at Orleans. And she duly arrived, and I wasn't ready. Oh, she had sent me some chips of paint.
Okay.
And she wanted me to paint everything that color. You know, it's like a beigey color.
Yeah.
And similar to this here. And so we did that, and she came, and we went through certain things, and she said, have you got photographs? Have you got this? And she looked at the photographs. Fantastic the way she worked. And she could, she from a transparency, she's going to take these photographs to Walmart and get them transparencies. And so you put a transparency, did the outline, and then took the picture and she's a portrait painter.
Yes.
And I gave her pictures of my family, or a whole lot of things. She did the one on, if you look in the ceiling in the main bar, she said, oh, I need a
Scaffolding.
You know, one small one. She's up, painted on the ceiling.
like Da Vinci.
And so at the end of 10 days, because of this disruption, because I had builders working around her, or she was working around that, she used to get here at 6 o'clock in the morning and be the last one out.
Okay.
Every day. She was unbelievably fantastic. And then when we came to the end and she had to go and we hadn't finished, I said, what am I going to do regarding the paint colors? And there were certain rooms. So she said, okay, that wall, whatever it was, you'll do it. I'll give you the color for that. And you just do it a flat. But the most fantastic part of it, she said, a number of the walls, said, you got to paint them red. I'll give you the color red. And I thought to myself, well, she's been right up to now.
Yeah.
And so we did that. And it was an enormous help, So when people say, oh, I did it. No, I did it with a lot of help. Extreme. And she also helped me with the bric-a-brac, the things that are around, where I should place them and how she could do it. She didn't do anything with the photographs as such, other than make drawings of them and, paintings of them. But for me, she was unbelievable. And
What was her name?
if I did one again, I'll try and find her again.
What was her name?
Can't remember.
Can't remember.
Yeah.
Going back to when you were kitting out the pub and buying the items in Derry, and you talked about like not having the money at the time to buy those pieces. What's the one that you always think back upon that you like, the one that you really would have liked to have had?
A huge help me.
Statue?
A glass, which you have in churches.
Okay. Oh,
Stained
stained glass. Okay.
Huge stained glass, which I wanted to put on the one side of the pub.
Okay.
And it would have been fantastic, but it was a lot of money. And then when I went back, I'm just thinking now, when I went back and I said, well, before they sent the stuff, I said, is it still available? And he said, no, somebody purchased it.
Yeah.
So that's it. It was good in one way because I didn't extend myself
Sure.
further.
So when you go back now, because you go back like once or twice a year, right? To
I go
Ireland?
back at once.
For Whiskey Live and
Yes.
and you have the largest collection
Yeah.
publicly available of Irish whiskey in the country, correct?
Of whiskey,
Yeah.
by far.
Do you ever journey back to Derry to see what they maybe have? Like, even though the pub's been built out now for 20 plus years, if like there's
I haven't. No.
Okay.
But good. He's very nice people.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's quite hard to find it because it's in the middle of. It's like a barn, huge barn with stuff in it, which I don't know if it's even still there.
okay,
It would be there, because Irish Pub Company used to employ 2 guys who all they did, they don't do it anymore, all they did was go to sales, houses,
okay,
churches, and buy everything in there. Everything. And take it into source, then so
Kinda
people
like
could source it.
American Pickers, but
Yeah.
in Ireland instead.
But big. I mean, they would take out whole houses, very old houses of stately homes. They would take a lot of stuff out.
but obviously when you arrived in Vegas in the late '90s, the trend of the Irish pub culture was trending up, right?
Yes.
Because, like you said, J.C. Woolighan's, Nine Fine here, and other cities, like the competition, but the same as the Re-Raws of the world, or when there was Fido. So, like, they were building that out. There was more of a demand for that. How have you seen the Irish pub culture in the last decade?
Yes. Everybody wanted to have an Irish pub of their own. There was a big demand for it. I mean, some people, I'd always ask them, I said, what is this, a business or a hobby?
Yeah.
If it said it was a hobby, it was fine. Do you have the money for it? How much do you want to spend? Always try to, because we don't want to overdo it. We don't want to have extensions of, we said it would be 100,000, now it's 200,000.
Sure.
The Irish pub never did that. They said what it was, and you said, that's too expensive. Well, that's what it is. Or you did it, but it was never a penny more. People could argue, maybe it was plenty less. I never found that. I was involved in about 7 around the country. As a glorified salesman, I suppose you could call it, that people would come to me and I'd try and give you my honest opinion. And a lot of it was through my experience of screwing up.
Yeah.
So, for example, in my opinion, people will always dispute it. If you want to build one in wherever it is, Pennsylvania, in Europe, because you grew up there and whatever, they ask me, where should I put it? I always say to them, you come from the town. Where do you think you should put it? There's things to think of with an Irish pub, or I guess with any pub. Is it near a university? Is it near whatever? Have you got parking? One of the main things is, and it was yesterday for us here, is things that people don't really understand. And I always say, have you done your financials? You haven't got the place, but as you would do it. And if they say yes, if they say no, I say, well, maybe you should do that. And then they come back and they say, yeah, we've got them. And then I would ask them a question. So, you want to spend $1 million? They might have said to me, I've asked them, and they say, well, we've got $1 million to spend. Then they say to me, I ask them, well, what is your nut for a year? How much are your expenses, according to your financials, for your first year? And they would say, for example, 200,000. And I say, well, we're not going to build a pub for $1 million. We're going to build it for 800,000. I felt, you must always have a year's money because you're going to fall in love with your pub. You are going to When we build it, it's going to be yours, and you're going to love your pub. If you don't love it, well, you got no chance. If you love it, you need the 200,000 or whatever the number was, because if you don't have it, your pub is going to be somebody else's pub. You know,
So smart.
you're going to have to sell it or sell a partnership, get 50%, whatever the number is. You must survive, because if you don't, we don't want to be associated with pubs that don't survive.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
So
the
kind of
Irish pub.
smart from a budgeting perspective.
Because you build a beautiful pub and it goes bust. Oh, it rubs off on you.
So when you were building this and ultimately looking for the space in Las Vegas in the early 2000s, what led you to this parcel of space? What was the decision factor?
You know, I wanted to have the 15 machines,
Okay.
and I looked at a number. This had permission. You only get permission when it goes, but it was approved for the building of a 15 machine
Okay.
place. There wasn't a pub, but it was, you applied for it. Some other people applied for it. And I got him put in touch with them. And at the beginning, they were partners of mine.
Okay.
But I don't like partners, not them, any partner. Because then I want to make my own decisions and live or die by them. I don't want to have to consult you and consult you. Not that you couldn't give me good advice. There will be, disagreements. I may be wrong. You may be wrong.
But it's your wrong decision.
Yeah, I want to be wrong myself.
Understood.
It's like, because you've had a certain vision about it and a certain way that you want to go. And obviously people think, oh, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that. And I'm thinking, that's a hindrance to me and to the business, because now the business doesn't know when it was going. And people who are customers that you've developed want you to succeed. Otherwise, why do they want to be here? They don't want to be in a losing proposition, even if they just attending it or becoming regulars. They want to be regular.
We're back with segment 2. We're talking to the publican and proprietor and purveyor of the perfect pint. And if I get a few more P words in there, Brian McMullan. And we're just
Best Irish Nachos, best fish and chips,
well, it's
best Guinness in town.
It's funny that Darren says that, because kind of talking to your points, if this is your pub and you had partners to begin with, and if you were going to be wrong, you want to be wrong on your dime. Kind of talk to, like he said, Irish Nachos, and you kind of fell forward into that, right? You never thought that was going to be what it was going to be.
Oh, absolutely not. Yes, we had a young lady. Well, she'd worked for me before, who was excellent chef. I mean, we hired her. I hired her 6 months too early, because I hired her too only because we were delayed in the building.
Okay.
So you hired her like 3 months before, but it turned out to be 6 months before. So you were still paying, and that's not good. Not for her, for me. And she was great. And I said to her, okay, we want to do, this is America. We have an Irish pub, but this is America. We want to give you the family recipes for, Irish stew. We want to do, it's not a recipe of ours, but, bangers and mash. We want to do, it was Guinness stew, various things. I mean, fish and chips, obviously, because every Irish pub in the country, if people come into it in America, they get 2 things: Guinness and fish and chips.
Yes.
You don't have a choice. They'll
Right.
tell you that's what they're going to have. Now, we want them to have it as well, but those are the first 2 choices. So we gave her maybe 7 different things, 6 Irish dishes. And I said, but there's hamburgers. We've got to have hamburgers. We've got to have certain other things because it's America. And then she came to me after a while And she said, I want to do nachos. I said, and this was quite early in the game. She said, before we opened, we want to do nachos. I said, there are plenty of Mexican restaurants around. I can't compete with them. No, she said, no, Brian. It's not normal nachos. It's nachos, because nachos are hard.
Right.
We'll do it with like Lay's. We'll do them ourselves. They're softer. They're more like, as you would call them in Ireland, crisps. And we'll do the normal stuff on it. But it's when you put them in the oven and they come out, it'll be fantastic. And I said, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And we went on our way. And we didn't have a test kitchen. There's no kitchen. And if you do that sort of thing at our house, by the time you get them here,
Sure.
they've softened up and they're not the same thing. It's like very hard to do them to go, although lots of people do them to go. They're not perfect.
Yeah.
You have to really have that thing here. So anyway, she would come back on a regular basis to me, and I'm trying to do the building and the design and whatever. And there's the law as well. You got to get the license in, and you got a whole lot of things. And she'd come to me and she'd say, "Oh, Ryan, we want to do the nachos." And I'd keep on knocking her back. Would seem stupid now, but I admit to my stupidity. Eventually, she must have been 4 or 5 times to me. Want to have a meeting about it. And I kept putting her off. And then I was having such difficulty with the building, with permissions and whatever. And I was so, I guess, frustrated, not with her, but with the process, that some of it, which was my fault, not all of it, but some of it was my fault, until one day she said the same thing. I want to do nachos. And I said to her, all right, okay, we'll do nachos, but we can't call them nachos. We have to have a little tongue-in-cheek. We have to make a bit of a joke of it. Otherwise, you're talking about Mexican,
Right.
Hispanic nachos. And I said, we got to let's call them Irish nachos. And people say, no, they copied what we did. America's a great country for copying. You don't do two. If you're successful and you go on, people take the photographs and they put it on YouTube or whatever they do. And within 6 months of us opening, there were places in town doing Irish nachos.
Really?
They copied ours because there are a lot of pictures.
Yeah.
The people put on that. They call it, even on the East Coast, there was a place. And that's actually the only place that I've seen them do them like we do them, is Irish nachos. It was like, wow, isn't that amazing? They think it's really a product. It was a joke.
Well, and he and I both worked here, and so obviously, I mean, gosh, and it was on the cover of the LV Weekly a handful of years ago. I mean, it's probably one of the most identifiable, like, appetizers or signature food items in the Valley for like a quarter
Google search
century.
for McMullan's, the first thing that pops up is
And
not
as you
nachos.
said, I didn't want it
Yeah.
originally. It was, okay, and the other thing that they did, we just did a big one time. It was just one size. And then we'd see them come back. Yeah, maybe that's too much. So then we did a half size. We kept the other one because some of them, there wasn't anything. Half size. And then we did a mini to try to cope with, different appetites. And then people would say, wouldn't say to me necessarily, but they might say to me, Brian, could you put some ground beef on it? Yeah, we can do that. We have the ground beef, which we do shepherd's pie and whatever. Yeah, okay. So we put that and we charge an extra for that. And then other people say, what about, totally independently, blackened chicken? Yeah, we can do that. Eventually it came down to corned beef. Oh yeah, we can do that. And what else? And sometimes they say, can we have all three? So there's little sections, that we do, which is no problem for us to do. We try to, that's part of the deal, with customers loving it so much, because they get their own version of it from the basis. We add the basis, and then they get but it had 55% of my appetizers are
Irish nachos.
in volume,
Yeah.
them. If you collect the mini, the this, the that,
I wonder how many you've sold over the years.
a lot. I don't know what the number
Like
is.
them?
It's a lot.
Right, huge.
Yeah, it's big. People travel for that.
Yeah. Well, I
How
mean,
wrong could I be? Eh?
that's a distinguishable item within the pub, McMullan's, but also another distinguishable item, and it's not like uniquely, it's inherently its own, but your interpretation of McMullan's Irish coffee.
Mm-hmm.
How did you kind of develop that?
Well, it's I'd always liked Irish coffees in Ireland or in England, and I came here because we come here, we don't know it all, right? We try and do what the Americans do, right? We try to do it, but then the Irish coffee was, and it's been some sort of a tradition. Wasn't my tradition. You have the ear on the glass, and and the bartenders, my bartenders at the time, were doing it. It's this brown mixture. It looks to me terrible. It's just a brown mixture. It's the same ingredients, and people stir it up too. Oh, Jesus. So I said, okay, and listen, I'm not a bartender. I just know what I like.
Neither are we. But
I just,
Allegedly.
but to me, a lot of the thing in food and beverage is your eyesight. For me, I've always known Irish coffee to be black or dark color with the cream on top.
right.
Looks appetizing.
Like a
And
Guinness
you-
almost.
And you're drinking the hot stuff through the cold.
Right.
You agree. And to be quite honest, we tried a lot of different ways, but we were used to Ireland and England, and the cream is different. So we tried it,
The cows,
and we couldn't.
the cows have an accent over there.
We couldn't get it right. It took us a week at least to get it right. And there were a couple of customers. One was a chef, and the other guy was, they were in the food business, and they used to come in.
Yeah.
Every day they sat down. And one guy's a spice guy now. He does spices all over the country actually now. He's a big spice guy. And they said, well, let me have a shot doing it. And it wasn't exactly, but we got the start from that. And, Dallas and whoever were there at the time. And I said to them, look, I don't want it, this brown mixture. I want to see it like a Guinness. It's got to be, to me, look like a Guinness. Because that's appetizing. When you see a pint come, it's not, to me, it's not a liquid, it's a solid. It seems like a solid to me. When you look at it, you think you can just pop it out and eat it like a jelly or something. But so we wanted to get the same feeling with that. And we did it, and I thought, I didn't know that it would work, if you know what I mean. I didn't know we'd sell as many, but we sell. Each year it grows.
Yeah.
And this is very difficult to sell cocktails here. To sell cocktails in this pub, we found to be very difficult. I think, and at the beginning, we had a lot of bartenders who worked at TGI Friday. And at that time, TGI Friday they used to train their staff well and whatever else. They were all well known. We had about 5 of them.
Yep.
I didn't hire them. One of the managers at the time, Greg, he hired them. But they still couldn't they could do the cocktails, but people wanted draft beer. The more Irish or English or whatever, more overseas stuff, people, we hardly sell bottles. I mean, we sell bottles, but it's such a small amount compared to the draft number. And with that, it seems that we don't do a lot of cocktails. Now, people have had to say, oh, we got to do this cocktail. Okay, do it. But when you look at the numbers, there's Irish coffee here. And the next big, or whatever, you might have Jameson and ginger, which is hardly a cocktail, but, and others. Go down to Sex on the Beach, you might have 10 a year. You know what I mean? Whereas in other bars, you'd get a lot.
Right.
But I think because I just think ours is such a draft place that's what people like. You know what I mean? They come in, why they come in the Irish pub. And I'm not talking about everybody, but a large proportion of Leggers are coming in to have Guinness. And I've always wanted 2 stouts. And I had 2 stouts but every time, for every 10 Guinnesses, the best I got was 1.5.
Is that Beamish?
So, and it was Murphy's.
Or Murphy's.
And I charged less for Murphy's. It was still just 1.5.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make Murphy's successful. We had Beamish before and we had others before. But I wanted to make it because I just felt I needed to, but people didn't.
Now, who in the evolving of the Irish coffee, who came up with the clover stencil?
Oh, one of our customers.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of our customers who's no longer here. I think he's back in England. He used to build plans. Like 3D plans for sale, like if you were going to build a block of apartments, he'd do the 3D thing.
Yeah.
And so he had equipment, because he used to do it, I don't know how they do it, but he came in with a little perspex, or whatever you call it, the plastic, whatever,
Acrylic.
And then he could cut forms in it. Like we cut the clover,
Yeah.
We put that in, and can do anything. He used to come in and then he perfected it a bit, so you could hold the little thing and put them on and do it. Yeah, he did that.
It's crazy technology's caught up. Like you could get
Just a custom. It's just not just a
You can
custom.
get your picture on a Guinness, printed on a Guinness now.
We used to have the Guinness came and did that once.
Yeah.
They had the machine, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd say other than obviously the Buena Vista in San Francisco, because I think it was a barman from Ireland at Shannon Airport that brought the Irish coffee to America in the 50s.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I mean, that has the nomenclature and the history in this country. But I mean, to your point about like that visualization, like when I worked here and you would make an Irish coffee and present it to the guests, I was like, get your camera out. Because every time they saw that stenciled, and it was a picture, and to your point, Irish nachos and Irish coffees,
It's we each year and I've been to Buena Vista and I've seen them do it. It's not what we do.
Right.
It's totally different. And they obviously, it's like a sausage machine, and I congratulate them. They make a fortune out of it.
Yeah.
Because they sell so many. And I went there on a quiet day and I said, geez, it was a small little bar, not much food. And anyway, I congratulate that they've done very well. But it isn't what we do. It's nowhere close to what we do. I don't say ours is better than theirs. They do it theirs. Obviously, they make a lot of money.
It's pretty damn good, though.
Yeah. So I think, part of our name is made through that Irish coffee.
Let me ask you this. You've been in this building for almost 25 years, a quarter of a century. In the pub culture in that 25 years, what have you noticed changed about the person that comes through this pub?
At different times of the day, it is different. Obviously, if you're going in graveyard, that's gambling. Except like on St. Patrick's Day, you would there at 4 o'clock and they wouldn't be necessarily gambling. But what has changed the loyalty of locals, I mean, is big. People are loyal,
Okay.
and they like, and no matter what I do, no matter what anybody does, it's what they do. We used to be 65-35 alcohol, beer. Now it's the other way around.
More food?
Food, yeah. People love our food.
It's kind
Yeah,
of taken
it's
on.
comfort food, you know.
Yeah.
It's taken on a mind of its own. Now you literally can't change anything because if you change something, you're gonna piss off.
One of my things that we've tried to. Why do I have such a big Irish whiskey collection? In my mind, I've tried to change something. It's cost me a lot of money to do it. To have the breadth, because I think in the end it'll work out. It's taking time, but we have over 180 different types of Irish whiskey. And for my mind, and I'm not a big drinker, but I like what I drink, if you know what I mean. My first Guinness is my best Guinness.
Yeah.
My second Guinness is not necessarily my best. This is just me personally. But for whiskey, in my opinion, it's easier to drink Irish whiskey. There's a few peated ones, but Scotch, not knocking Scotch. Scotch, most of it is peated. It's all peated, majority. And it's much more an acquired taste. You got to drink a lot of Scotches to like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas with Irish whiskey, because of the barrel configuration and how you can change it, you know, sherry, it gives it that little bit of sweetness.
Right.
And I think if somebody says to me, and I never push it on them, Wayne, what do you? Well, I like personally, for price and everything, I would say Redbreast 12. That's what I buy. That's what I would have at home. Because I don't drink much at home, but I would have one at night sometimes. You know, like before bed. I just like to sip it.
Yeah.
And finish it and have it. But if you come to me, as it happened not so long ago, somebody comes to me and says, "Oh, give my friend a an Irish whiskey." Oh no, I don't drink. I drink bourbon. You have the Irish whiskey. No. You have it. Just taste it. No. I have that. And they brought me in on the conversation. So I said, "Okay, sir. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll buy you a Redbreast 12. And if you don't, you can pay for it if you like it. If you don't like it, I'll pay for it." And I said, "Let's see if I give you a little, put your finger in it and rub it over your lips and see if you like that." And he finished it.
Yeah.
And just to introduce, like, are you year 8 or 9 into McMullan's Irish Whiskey Club that you deal with Will Grass and like Cassie previously and Ryan? Is that far along? And like,
We have it this weekend.
You do every third Friday, where it's usually 3 samples.
3 samples, yeah. I mean, we just picked 3. We having to repeat because, you know, we've been doing it every month for 5 or 6 years now. So you got 12 months, 36 whiskeys, you know, you use them up. And we don't really take our top of the line stuff that much, except on one weekend when I donate, but it's for St. Baldrick's. I donate very expensive, you know, things that will cost $200 a shot. I put them in there and people pay for that evening $150, and all the money goes to St. This year to St. Baldrick's, 9,970 net. I mean, I didn't take any money out. I just donated the stuff. So.
We're going to take another break in a second, but first question, we're recording this very quickly on March 18th, 2026. How was St. Patrick's Day yesterday here?
Oh, you mean St. Patrick's Day?
Another great year?
We've done 24 of them. So we've learned.
Yeah.
We used to do it bigger, but it, we have to, if we do it like that and charge a fee at the door, then we subject to certain taxes with the game you have to pay. And it's very difficult. If you just do it once, it's the live entertainment tax
right.
or whatever. So I stopped doing that, so I don't charge at the door, and we come in. And, unfortunately, the line is hour and a half.
Right.
We don't let the people, we only let the people in if we're comfortable with the numbers of people in the building. So, the people wait to come in.
I remember, used to charge $20 at the door. There'd be a line down the street.
Yeah.
But then when they changed the LTE tax, they had to stop.
I mean, we charged 5, then we charged 10, and we charged 20. One of the things was to keep people out.
But you got to think too, right? Because like when you first opened the pub, I mean, it was kind of like, St. Patrick's Day has kind of done what Halloween has done in this country. That's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and it used to just be not exclusive to the pubs, like the Re-Raws, the Fidos, the Here's, the Woolighans, but now like Vegas is just a big St. Patrick's Day party.
I think at the beginning, the first one, we were taken by surprise. I was taken by surprise because I didn't realize that St. Patrick was as big as it was. I mean, if you did it properly. I mean, I had to go and get cakes from other places.
Yeah.
I went around and got 5 cakes from here and 4 cakes from there. And at 8 o'clock in the following morning, we finally ran out of beer.
Okay.
Out of Guinness, not beer. And it was, but then we learned.
Yeah.
We learned quickly.
Let's take another break real quick.
Yeah.
Then we'll move on. Talk about St. Baldrick's for a bit.
Yeah, we'll talk about St. Baldrick's for a minute, kind of wrap it up, and then like ask you a few like just quick take questions and just like your opinion on a couple of
We got St. Baldrick's in what, two weeks?
This
right?
next
or week and a half, right?
Not this Saturday, next Saturday after that. 28th.
Does Doctor who's the doctor that used to come in here that moved away?
Yeah, no, he lives in New York now.
He's gone now.
Yeah,
Bernstein, right? Bernstein.
Dr. B, yeah.
Dr. Bernstein, yeah.
Dr. Bernstein, wonderful man. Wonderful.
He's a great guy. He's a little bit of a
He's eccentric.
He's eccentric, yeah. He used to, because I was with Nikki for years, and he was kind of like, he could be an asshole to the nurses sometimes.
Yeah. I don't get into.
Is he still?
Yeah, I just know that he looked after kids.
Does he still? Does he still do it out there? Do you know, or do you keep in contact?
I don't know exactly, but yes, he's still a doctor. He comes from a whole family of doctors.
Well, you think about too, like just from the pub here, like the effect you've had with St. Baldrick's, like I know like Cirque does One Drop now, which is a different charity, but I think it came from.
Well, no, they do One Drop, but that was originally. The Cirque staff do Cure for the Kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't do anything
Which
with
is a separate one now, but that's grown from.
Yeah,
from doing it here, yeah. So like the knockoff effect of doing it here has created different charities and different, like things that, which is, any type of charity that goes towards kids is great. So.
Well, the Cirque staff, they do what they do, but they also want to do other stuff. If you're in your job, your job is tumbling. A lot of them like to do theatre. They want it. Well, I can't speak for them. I just know they want to.
Are we live? Are we recording?
Yeah.
So the nice thing about the pub culture, and we talk about this a lot on the podcast, is pubs used to be a gathering point, and still are, obviously, not as much as younger generations, because you have home, you have work, and the pub was kind of the community where you got your news and everything. And we talk about that a lot on the podcast. And yesterday, when we were here on St. Patrick's Day and enjoying the libations of the celebration, I was talking to Peter Sharkey, and I was talking to him, and we were talking about another pub that's no longer here. but like how you just never know who comes into the pub, and he didn't realize one day that he was talking to Roger Daltrey. And it's like, who have you seen come through these doors over the years that you were kind of taken aback? Like, wow, that person is having a pint at my pub.
I don't know. The numbers. We don't like to publicize it. I don't mind publicizing it afterwards, but at the time, you know, if it's happening, I don't want anybody to disturb them.
Well, of course.
You know what I mean? They.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Joan Collins. I remember I was working back here one day, and Joan Collins came in, and I'm like, because I'm a big Star Trek fan.
Yeah.
She was on the episode City on the Edge of Forever, but you know, Dynasty. She was on Dynasty, which most
Yeah,
people
I
know.
know. I know Joan personally. She her best friend used to work for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Judy Bryant. Did you ever? Judy used to help us with.
Oh, yeah.
With some Baldricks. She was secretary to or assistant to Anthony Newley. You know who he is, famous singer.
Oh, yeah.
And Anthony Newley he married Joan Collins. So then she became Anthony Newley's and Joan's secretary, and then they split up, and then she was Joan's best friend. And so, yes, I've met her at plenty of dinners and whatever, and she's been here, yeah.
And
Remember Bob Picardo
She's
was
a
here?
friend, yeah.
Bob Picardo, another Star Trek alumni, but he was famous for the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. He was in that Total Recall.
Total Recall.
He's
Okay.
been in Gremlins. He's been in a lot of movies. He was in Wonder Years. He was the basketball coach in the Wonder Years.
Okay. Okay.
We've had John Stockton, I suppose. He's a
Okay.
bit of a name, isn't he? I suppose. Well, a big name. Not he's retired, obviously. He used to go against Gonzaga.
Yeah.
They've been in with them, very quietly. We've had the Irish dancer.
Flatley.
Yeah,
Okay.
a long time ago. But we, as you know, we are quite close to hockey.
Yeah.
You know, my son played hockey, not obviously at this level, but professional. And so last night there were 7 of them in here. We don't advertise it, but, you know, they were here after the game.
Yeah, that's kind of taken a life of its own with the relationship between the VGK and McMullan's. And even to the point of like a year or two ago, like Eichel got a little virality about like drinking at McMullan's, you know, or whatever. So
No, he's a guy from Boston.
Yeah.
And he's, you know, we don't have that many Americans in the team.
Right.
But he's one of them. And he's, I think the family love to go to Irish pubs. And they have to go. I don't have to go, obviously. They do whatever they want. But, yeah, we're very proud to have them. But we don't go out and try to get them.
Right.
Well,
You
you've
know,
been-
it's not like they come just like another customer. And we'd prefer it like that. And they'd prefer it like that, I think.
You've
We
been a
don't try to
supporter
hustle them.
of local sports for a long time. Like you
Yeah.
supported Sin City Irish, the Las Vegas Slots, which was the women's rugby team.
No, we
The ECHL, the Wranglers, for a long time.
yeah. Oh, yeah, Wranglers. Yeah, we've
Yeah.
got their pictures up here. No, they yes, mainly because of Ross. You know, he was playing hockey since he was 5 years old or 4 years old. So I can't skate, but I go to games and I love it. It's but I've watched a lot of hockey, not necessarily this. I've watched as he grows up. I've been to Canada and been to, you know, wherever, and colleges and Ivy League and seen, you know, lots of games. So
You're-
I don't profess to be brilliant at assessing anything.
Your real passion is the Springboks, all right? Are you a huge
Yeah.
Springboks fan?
Yeah. I was never a rugby. I played rugby, but I was more of a football, no soccer.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I played at a good level, fairly
You-
not the top
You
level.
never know here when you come into the pub, like whether it be day, night, graveyard, either could be Australian sports or like, you know, South America, anywhere in the world, it can be sports from.
I think the pub, as I see it, and I've only just learnt it for the whole, because I've been so involved in the last 24 years, that in order to be successful, I believe, you got to be many things. It's not just about serving drinks or serving food. It's about, and of course, in this building, it's about using your hours properly. I don't own this building. I lease this building. What do I pay? I pay rent. If this room is empty like it is now, it's a problem. I'm still paying the same rent. So what you try to do, or at least what I try to do, is have European sports. Why? Because they doing it at 4 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not clashing with American sports.
Yeah.
For the most part, obviously it does in occasions. But like today, this room was full, which is like 45 or, well, it's not full, but comfortable. Well, there's maybe 45 in here for a lunchtime game. I utilized the room. This is apart from there were probably 40 outside as well. We utilized this room. When you have Aussie rules, it's, that's one of our biggest sports here.
Mm-hmm.
They just have one big event. We show it. That's at different times. That's like 11 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. But their grand final, I mean, how that started, not because I'm a genius, because somebody came in and said, Brian, are you showing Aussie rules?
I remember we got a shout out on the national broadcast.
Yeah.
They said if you're ever in the States, you go watch the game at McMullan's Irish Pub.
Yeah,
I thought that was a pretty cool neat.
I had Australian radio on the phone to me.
Yeah.
Do you show it there? I said, well, I tell them the story. This guy said he'd bring in 25 people. I said, yeah, I'll show it. What is it on? And he told me it's changed since then. I said, yeah, we'll put you. We were going to put them in the cottage. No, yeah, cottage. And they turned up. 125 people turned up. And we had a band on. And it's played on a Saturday at like 3 o'clock or whatever. But it's Friday night here at 9:30, and we had the band.
Wow.
So on that day, we never have a band anymore because we fill the place up with Australians or Americans who like us, or friends of them, or whoever. It's a phenomenon, really, because anybody could watch to go, any other pub could do it. But you've got to be, I never sought to get rugby here. I never sought to do those things. Crown and Anchor used to do it, and then there was a bit of a problem, not of my doing them, and they asked, could they come here? Sure. I was only too glad to have it.
Yeah,
but I never believed in trying to get them, if you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's not sincere. It's manufactured. So we've had the rugby team, two different rugby. The one went out of business, which was...
they were the national champions.
Yeah, they were that. Yeah. And then this other one, which is Sin City. You see, for me, I support them. They come and help me. I give them some money, and I give them this room where they have their home games. They, come what they call a social afterwards. And we've done it for 23 years. It's a big deal because they also do it at times when not everything's on. And it's the beginning of the year.
They also do security for St. Patrick's Day. So, people typically want to get rowdy on St. Patrick's Day and get drunk, but not here because we got the rugby team running security.
And they're really nice guys.
Yeah, they're great guys.
They're really nice guys. And so all these sports are not for any genius. It's because it's practical. Because if I tried, I tried to do American sports like football. And I remember there was a guy who worked for us who was a Jets supporter.
Oh yeah,
Is that Brian?
Brian Bergen.
Yeah, and a nice guy. And he used to come, and I said, okay, I'll get the ticket, and which was expensive. And they come out there, and it's a disaster because from my point of view, everybody's doing American football. Every pub in America does American football. Not everybody has the ticket, but a lot of people have the ticket. But then everybody is trying to do a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we'll do a bucket of beers at $4. Oh, we'll do a bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we'll do a bucket of beers at $4. Oh, we'll do a bucket of beers at $8. Or whatever. That's competition. I understand. That's the American way, and that's a great way. I don't want to be part of that. I want to do it when being a monopoly is quite a good thing, from my point of view.
We're going to start wrapping this up. We're just over a week away from one of your passion projects, St. Baldrick's. Yeah. So this is what, the 19th?
This will be the 19th.
19th year, and over the years raised over a couple $1 million for children's cancer research.
We've done 8 million here.
8 million.
8 million
Yeah.
and another 6
A couple
million
plus about 6 more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we don't have exclusivity for it.
Okay.
We don't want exclusivity of it. We want to raise money for childhood cancer research, and it's my most important day of the year. I don't want it to be my most important day there, but it is through personal circumstances. So I'll be shaving my head for the 20th one, because I shaved at Nine Fine once. And it's a big deal for me. I'm not that good at raising money, but we provide a service that there are other people that are very good at raising money. And we just have the vehicle for it, and we know how to do it, And I can't tell you how personal it is.
It's a powerful event. So just a breakdown of the event. In the morning, the doctors come in, and the shavies, the kids shave the doctors, right? The oncology
That
kids.
used to happen. It doesn't happen so much anymore.
Oh yeah.
We still have kids, but we don't feature it as such. It's all about the kids, but we don't manufacture it. We don't. Oh, I'm going to get some kids and whatever.
Yeah.
They come, but it is all. It's not only about the kids; it's about their families, because we're trying to save the kids, right? Oh, I'm not trying, but research is trying to save it. So, if the child survives, it's great for the family. If it doesn't, it's not great. People that are left behind are affected by it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just, so we try to prevent it by putting the money into research. And I'm just on the board now, the main board now of some Baldrick's. They wanted me to do it before, but I was always too busy with the pub. But I've been on it now a year, and I'm so impressed with the organization. I mean, I used to be, I'm blown over by, that you can get the annual report. You'll see it.
Mm-hmm.
Awards and all. And we have been involved, St. Baldrick's, when I say we, it's like the royal we. We have been involved with every single breakthrough of childhood cancer in the last 25 years. We only started 19 years ago, but the organization, which was started on a whim, it's now given 369 million purely for research. And we involve 200 hospitals who do research. I'm a little novice, a little rookie, and we have a great team of medical people who are dedicated. They don't do it, but they decide who's going to get the money, researchers. And if you want to be a researcher, you've got to say what you're going to do. And we are going to give you money for a period of 3 or 5 years, but you have to produce results.
So just like St. Baldrick started as wasn't it 3 guys in a Boston pub that they didn't want to run a marathon in New York. They didn't want to run a marathon or anything like that, and they're like, hey, we could just shave our head and raise money.
Challenged each other. One challenged the next one. He said, after a few Guinnesses, one said, I'll give you 1,000 if you shave your head.
That's perfect.
And that guy said to the other guy, he said, oh, okay, I'll shave my head. I'll give you 1,000 if you shave your head. And that's how. And they expected to raise 17,000 because they loved St. Patrick's Day. They still love St. Patrick. They're Irish Americans, and they wanted to raise 17. They raised 102,000.
Wow.
And then thought, and these people are in reinsurance, so they have money and knowledge, and they're impressive. These people are impressive, and I've dealt with them now, and I'm down. They're part of the board, and they they decided they'd form a foundation because they'd struck gold with this whimsical idea.
And now there's been so much money that's been made that even certain types of cancer that would be terminal like 20 years ago, the life expectancy of those cancers is like much more improved. So something that would have been 100% terminal 20 years ago is now, maybe like 20% or 10. I don't know the exact numbers, but
there's some that were terminal. Now there's 90%.
Yeah.
Chance of saying,
and that's just because of the dollars that have been raised for the research.
With cancer and oncology and whatever, basically you're poisoning the cancer.
Yeah.
And so it also poisons a child. And a lot of by the time they get to 50, they have problems. Right? Not all, but certain people. But this last year, we've gone to an 85% for kids that have got rid of cancer, no sight of it, for 5 years. 85%. Was 79%. It was much lower than that before. I used to, when I give money to charity, you sometimes feel you put it in a big black hole. You just dump in your money and it's never going to be. But there's so many results now because of it, because before, no money went into children. 3.6% of the money that the government gives, and forget about Republican or Democrat, the government, they gave it. But most is for adult cancer. Why? My just layman's term, nothing to do with St. Baldrick. It's possibly because the reps or the senators have mothers and grandmothers and wives who get breast cancer or something, and they get prostate cancer.
Yeah.
But the average age, I think, I could be corrected on this, is like for an adult, it's like 62 or 65 when they get the average, whereas the kids, it's 2.5.
That's great.
I mean, really, now the government give 7.6, but we give everything to childhood cancer, all our money, and that's why we're getting results. Because, if you're coming out of medical school and you want to do research and all the money's in adult cancer,
right?
You're gonna, unless you're dedicated, that you really want to help children, and there are people like that, but it is St. Baldrick's has given these people life, if you know what I mean. It's like, I just am super impressed with what they do. Forget about what we do here. I mean, what the organization itself.
Well, I guess what we can take from today's conversation between the 3 guys in New York that had a silly idea to raise this to hear more specifically about, like, who would have thought Irish Nachos would be this thing, is you just never know where, like, a crazy idea becomes the spark of inspiration for what it becomes.
So true, you know what I mean? You can plan lots of things, but the problem is you don't know everything. Not you, me, all of us. We don't know everything, we've got to try certain things, and if they work, they work. If they don't, they don't. I mean, I remember when we first did this, it's hokey. As an American, you learn that word hokey.
Yeah.
Shave your head, you raise money. How does that work?
Yeah.
But it works well.
Only in America.
You know, yeah, and I've never asked anybody to shave.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I never. We don't want you to shave necessarily. We want your money.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it's about. It's the way of getting money and having a laugh. And if you come on that day, and you've been here on that day, it's an atmosphere, a tremendous atmosphere of shouting, screaming, booing, hissing, crying. It's just, I'm old enough to remember the 60s, it's like a happening.
Yeah.
You know, it's
No,
really
it's
a happening.
It's a day where the sun shines through the doors. These doors are open over here, and there's a lot of positivity. Obviously, there's sadness too for the stories kind of read at this moment, but it's a special day at the pub. I've got we're gonna wrap this up. I've got a couple silly, kooky, hot take questions for you to kind of just because we're all near our end of our pints. Other than McMullan's or Guinness, where's the best pint of Guinness you've had in Las Vegas?
Don't ask him that question. He's not going to tell you the truth.
Well, you know, I only drink Guinness.
The ones that he's built, Woolighan's or Nine Fine
I
Irishmen.
only drink it. I can't. You know, we used to have Guinness at J.C. Woolighan, so that I was obviously involved with that. But
Did you ever get the sign that was in there? The McMullan's sign that was back there?
they wouldn't give it to me. They wouldn't sell it to me.
That's terrible.
Well, I didn't ask them directly. I asked them through people. But that's their choice. Yeah.
One thing that tourists always get wrong about the Irish pub culture.
That I always get wrong.
About the Irish
The
pub.
tourists.
The tourists.
No, I hopefully don't get anything wrong about it, but I can't really answer that question. I don't know.
Okay. What's a bar that you like to hang out at other than when you're not here? Like, do you have a favorite, like, for in your neighborhood or something? Where you pop in?
Oh, the funny thing is, you'll laugh at this. I live out in on the 95 now, near
Okay.
way out there, and the store that's amused me is Smith's. They have a bar. The first time I've ever seen it. They have a bar in Smith's. Now this Smith is gigantic. It's huge. You more or less need a bike to go around. No, you don't, but it's a long way around. And they have this bar in there, and they have like, I don't know, 7 different draft beers, and people do their shopping and go and have a beer there.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time I was in, it was full. Every table, they have tables, and they have the bar. It was full. And time before, I managed to sit down at the bar, and I had a beer, and there were 2 guys there that were regulars at this bar in there. So apart from it's surprising to me,
Yeah.
but the bartender had a lot of, could talk to them and laugh with them, and it was really quite personal. So I know that might sound strange to you, but it's really quite funny and quite personal.
Brings a whole new meaning to the word local.
Yeah.
Like you're local.
I've never seen it before. Yeah.
Now, throughout the pub, this is the last question. You kind of talk about 100 years at McMullan's because it was your grandfather that started originally in what county, Antrim? Is that correct?
Yes.
If he walked into the pub today, what would be the first thing he noticed?
Oh, now I think he would be pleased. I think there's a lot of history we've made it outside. You know what I mean? A lot of people like to see the history. I do tours. With my son and whatever, they take the piss out of me.
Yeah.
Because I'm all for showing them.
Yeah.
And I can show you. My whole family is on the walls for the most part. Was that the original intention? No, but I think he would be pressed. I know when my family come from Ireland and been here, they like it. They feel that I don't know if I am, because who knows what happens. But yeah, they like it. They really like it. And I think if you had a pub and you had your family stuff up, your family would like it. You know what I mean? As long as it's done with taste.
Right.
And, as part of the whole thing.
Well, for sure, there's something to be said about legacy and heritage.
Yeah.
Closing thoughts, sir?
No, I love it. I hope McMullan's is around for another 25 years.
Yeah, well, I might not be there, but yes, I would too. But who knows? Who knows in life? And Las Vegas changes so much, Things get taken down, and as you get older, you don't like change. I used to like change.
Yeah.
I'm getting older. Well, I don't really. But places get blown up, and you think, oh, this. And that's,
It's wild. You've probably seen like the neighborhood from what it was when you started to see where it went and where it's going. Like you have things like next door, you have that medical center going up.
Yeah.
And
I think that's good for me around here.
It's going to evolve.
Yeah, I'm welcome that. We wanted big apartments and whatever else, and there were many projects that were discussed. But I like it there. We have a Tropicana Business Coalition, and the guy who's going to be in charge of it, he comes to it. Oh, he's in charge of all 4 of them or whatever it is. He's a very nice guy. And we'd like to think that maybe they could be regular not the people that visit it necessarily, the people that work there.
Yeah. I always like to say, like that Las Vegas is a very transient town. And, we've seen people come and go, and the town has grown since I've been here from like under 1 million to over 3 million. But I've always said that all roads lead to McMullan's. You come to Las Vegas and everybody always says like, hey, where can I go meet people? And you're like, go to the pub. They have a trivia night, which is fantastic. Tuesday nights, you come play trivia, or the weekends they have live music, and you can always meet there's always a friendly face, whether they be the bartenders, the staff, or you.
Thank you. I mean, there should be a place for everybody. We get a lot of people who come. They live in Ohio or they live wherever. Oh, this is my 5th time here. We come every year. I love that. Needless to say, I will love that. I mean, it's obvious that you would love that, but it's we have a good following. The one thing that I really think, I don't really do social media. We have a page and we have whatever, and I know everybody does, and I'm of an age where maybe too late for me, but things like Yelp and TripAdvisor, I always used to, because you don't have a choice.
Right.
They have it there. And I used to, somebody sends a bad one in and you think, you grind over it. I don't care, because you have so many. And I don't try and leverage it, because we're very highly rated, and not because I seed it. If you give me a 5, great. If you give me a 1, great. I don't write to them. Either way, they've decided to give it. Sometimes I might be pissed, but that's what it is. By engaging, you might just cause bigger problems. But in TripAdvisor, I'm shocked by it. I'm shocked because there are over, I think, 5,300 places that are rated by whoever. And I'm shocked actually. We range between number 30 and 34. Of those 5,300. That is amazing to me. I don't feel like, oh, you're right. I'm feeling that, wow, we serve comfort food. We try to give it to you the same way every time. We try to do drinks the same every time. We can make mistakes. We do screw up.
Yeah, I worked here for that.
And but to have that level at this moment in time, it helps, I think, because we've been over here for 24 years. and you have, although that hasn't been around for 24 years, but I'm shocked by it.
Yeah, you know,
And I'm
anytime
thrilled by it, by the way.
I've just randomly Googled this place, you know, like, or like, I'll randomly Google, like, best place to get Guinness or best place to get, you know, whatever. And, you know, consistently McMullan's it's top of the list.
But for me, the best of and the best of this and the best of that, that's manufactured. It's manufactured. You know, if I took adverts in every bloody magazine, they might give me an award. I don't believe in that. These guys out here will tell me.
Yeah.
These guys who are going to say your bar is crap. That's what I should be paying attention to. And I talk to them if I know. I like people to. I don't have much of a job anymore, it seems, but I try to. When I'm here, I see every table. When I'm here, I try to.
Yeah.
Every table. How was it? Now they're not necessarily going to tell me the truth, but I do attempt to get the truth, and I get to know the people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they tell me stories, and they say they love this or they love that, or they don't like this or they don't like that. You get a feeling that you're part of it. You know what I mean? And they get a feeling that they're part of. I think people. Did I ever at the beginning want to do all that? I would like to just rake in the money and go to the bank. But, you know, and I would have JC out there doing it, you know, my friend, JC Woolighan, to be the main host. But people like to meet the person that owns it. They like to do that. And I like to do that.
Well,
When I go to somewhere, I like to see that the guy is there. You know, it's like there's many restaurants in town. It's this restaurant. It's that restaurant. I know they have 300 around the world. You're never going to see the guy. You know, even though it may be the chef.
Essentially, you put your name on the door, and in doing so, you're basically inviting people into your home. So you want to basically make them feel like they're part of the family.
Yeah.
Which I think is what adores people to this place.
It's much more personal.
Yeah.
You know, much more personal to them. And
Well, to
personal
you,
to me, yeah.
you want to make it.
Yeah.
You want to make everybody feel like they're part of the family.
You want to know where you're going wrong. You
Yeah.
want to know that. Because, you know, I'm the worst customer. I am the worst customer. I go to a restaurant and I have terrible service. I don't say anything. I just don't go.
You just
I
don't go
might
back.
give it another chance because somebody says, oh, we've got to go here. Okay. And it may be great. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I'm terrible because I'm not going to tell them it's great. I'm not going to tell it it's what. But I don't want me as a customer. I want somebody who tells me the truth, you know?
Yeah.
We got to wrap it up. It's
Yeah, we'll put that on the marketing campaign t-shirt.
What's
I
it?
don't want me as a customer. Next slogan.
Yeah.
So, thank you for the time.
Thank you. Oh, well, I hope it was all right.
No, absolutely.
we always have
I
fun.
probably went on too long.
No, we knew that we knew what we were going to get. You gave us exactly what we wanted.
It's perfect. Let's wrap.
All right, gentlemen. Well done.